call today's meeting. Jen, we do a roll call, please?
Mike Dolson, Tom McDonald,
Here.
Jennifer Finley, Jim Molitor, Carol Langford, Danielle Matt,
Here.
Bing Matt, James Steele Jr.,
Here.
Martin Charlo,
Present.
Len Two Teeth,
I'm here.
Lenice Trahan.
Thank you, Jen. Well, as always, you want to start this day off in a good way. So, Len, would you do the honor and give us a prayer? Thank you, Len. Thank you for starting us out in a good way. All right, we have minutes to consider here. Approval. Minutes from August 21st.
Mr. Chairman, I seen Abby highlighted on two issues there, and I can't recall either of them. Does anybody remember?
The names?
Yeah. Maybe we just replace them with tribal members.
I suppose since it's all
Yeah, I
an
can.
executive that just as well. Could do that.
Okay. Oh, Danielle.
Okay, so the two individuals were Ashley Kim Mill and Danielle Left.
Yeah.
But I want to double check first name. I know it was Danielle, but was that Ash?
That was Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley, yeah.
Okay, so you're be to replace the two individuals with Ashley Kim Mill and
Danielle Left Hand.
Daniel Left Hand. And then the other executive session was Robert.
Wasn't it that young man that came in and was talking about the lineman thing with Mission Valley Power?
Was Robbie McCray.
Okay.
Robert McCray. Did you get that, Abby?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Robert Junior McCray. Or Robert McCray Junior. Junior. JR. Robbie.
Motion to approve the August 21 minutes with corrections.
Which by Lynn approved the August 21st council minutes with corrections. Second by Danielle. Any further discussion? See none, all is in favor? Unanimous. Then we have the August 26th council minutes for your consideration.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, way at the end on page 11. Just a typo at the bottom there on page 11, motion by James Steele. Just have to move the L over. Very last motion of the day on page 11.
Any additional comments?
Motion to approve August 26th with corrections.
Motion by James to approve August 26th council minutes with correction. May I have a second? Go ahead, Martin. Second by Martin. You had eating all day long, huh? Yeah. All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Yeah, 7-4, 1 abstention with Jimmy. Minutes are approved. We have today's agenda. Is there any changes or additions to the agenda the council would like to see? Caitlin has one. Carol? Okay. Danielle,
I've just got a quick one.
quick one. It open?
Yes.
Anything else? I would accept a motion to approve today's additions to the, oh, we have one for open, okay. Martin. We have some additions. Accept a motion to approve today's agenda. Motion by James, second by Danielle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all is in favor? Unanimous. Okay, we have a walk-in. Come on up, Jason. Esquex.
Good morning, Council.
Good morning.
We're here today. I'm here with my good friend, Dave Strisco. Lieutenant Colonel Dave Strisco, retired U.S. Army Special Forces. Just a quick history on our background. His father, Jim Strisco, was raised in the Missoula area and spent time there as a kid, and then when he became an adult, moved into ministry work, missionary work, and moved back east and spent time back there for several years. And then, in his own words, he would always say, I moved home. And he bought a place here right outside of Pablo several years ago. And how him and I's paths crossed was a couple funny stories there, but as our paths crossed, he started attending the Friday morning prayer group that we continue here. Even we'll be here tomorrow. been going on over 29 years now. We've been doing that. So, but Jim was a part of that, and he came, and one of the things that he always talked about and was praying for was his son who was in the military, and praying for the day that his son would retire. Special force work is quite demanding, and as a Salish, as a tribal nation, we owe this man a huge debt of gratitude for his service, because he's done a lot for the country and for our nation too. So I think that's important to recognize here today. But Jim, ironically enough, the day that Dave retired from the military is the day his father passed away, December 31st of last year. And so one of the things that Dave had done in his life here locally was he bought property in the St. Ignatius area years ago, and upon his retirement moved home. And he has now acquired the Mission Country Market down in St. Ignatius. And of his own decision, he's wanted to come and visit with the tribal council a little bit. And I told him, yeah, we can make this happen. It's my privilege to come today and just be a part of this. But one of the things that, as the new owner of the Mission Country Market, Dave wants to fly the tribal flag. He thinks that's an appropriate thing to have for his business. So that's what we're here to discuss with you today, and I'll turn it over to Dave.
Welcome, Dave.
Thank you
Thank you
very
for your
much.
service. Thank you for your service.
I really appreciate it. It's an honor and privilege to be here in front of you, and I really appreciate you listening to me today. I've been with Jason, faithfully praying for you and your decisions for a while now, and every time I come in here, this is a very sacred place, and I really am honored every time I come in this building, and especially honored just to be in front of you. Just a little background of why I'm here before you. I did do 20 years of service in the Army. I was born in Missoula, and so Montana's always been home to me. And so coming back here is definitely coming back home. I'm not a tribal member, but I am very honored to be part of this community, and this is my home and this is my community. Our store, we have a 10% discount for veterans, and then also a friends and family discount that we have for our employees to give out to friends and family. And I'd like to extend that to every tribal member as well, because we view all of our tribal neighbors here as friends and family, and we see ourselves as guests in a very sacred place that you steward. The reason why I would like to fly the flag is for a couple reasons. I'm a Christian, and in Romans 13 it says that you should support your governing authorities, and I see the council as my governing authority here, and I really appreciate the prudent decisions that the council has been making for years and even recently. And there's a lot of new developments that are happening here that I'm very pleased with and glad to see. So I'm as a Christian, I do take it seriously to support governing authorities, which is one of the reasons why I served our nation. I'm a Purple Heart recipient, and so I've shed blood for my nation. And when I say nation, I also view that as the Flathead Nation. I know I'm not tribal, but this is, I've been overwhelmed by the welcoming spirit of this community, and I've been overwhelmed by the appreciation that so many people have given me, and I'd like to message that back to the community and fly the flag. So the flag is sacred. It's it's older than the American flag in the terms of how long this nation has been here. And so I'd like to recognize that. Our store for us is we operate off the business model of treating other people the way that you want to be treated. So in a society in a place where American corporations and business sector is really focused on profit, we very much value relationships. We know we gotta have a healthy business, but we very much value relationships, and that's the number one thing in our business. And we see the store as a facet of the community, and for that reason, we think it's only appropriate that we should fly the flag over the business, because we do want to see it as a facet of the community. I'll stop talking now, and I really appreciate you listening to what I have to say. And again, honored and privileged to be here in front of you.
Thank you, Dave. First, I want to comment, I wish everybody that resided on our reservation had the same enlightened attitude and perspective as you do. The second thing I want to say is thank you for recognizing our tribal people for a discount in your store. Things that are happening right now, or with the inflation from tariffs and other considerations, the dollar just doesn't go the same way as it did just even a year ago. I made that comment yesterday and 2 days ago in a meeting in Missoula. So any discount is really important for people, because it's as we move forward into this next year and the next 2 years, when congressional actions take full force, we're going to have some difficult times. So every little bit we can help every household, every tribal household, the community in need, anybody, that's critical. So really appreciate that consideration for your fellow human beings in your community. So really appreciate that. Any comments from council? Recommendations for the flag? I know with one thing I would like to say about the flag is I wish everybody would fly our flag. And I think the more our flag is out there, the better it is. So I support giving you a flag and putting a flag up at your store. Really appreciate that. Go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank Jason, and thank you for coming in, and yeah, thank you for your service. Yeah, it's really something that we should do more of. I think that embracing where we live and realizing that we're all guests here, and kind of honoring the people that came before us is always important. And so you're going to do that and add a discount. I've never actually been in that store for various reasons, and so I'll actually probably stop in and get a sandwich that I've heard so much about and enjoy that discount as well, and encourage other people to go. So I would support that, and yeah, thanks again for what you're doing.
Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, I also appreciate your service, but I also appreciate that you come in here on Friday mornings and pray for us. That means a lot to us. And at times I think we really feel those prayers. I mean, really, really good prayers. So anyway, I've been in the store. I love it. I love the different things that you can go in and get and all the things in bulk. So I really appreciate that. And I think it's really says a lot for yourself about what you're doing for our people. Because we work every day to make their lives better. And now we have a member of our community that's stepping up and doing the same. So thank you so much. It means a lot.
Would it be the consensus of the council to give Dave a flag? All right, Dave, I have one right up here for you.
Thank you
Jim.
very much. I really
Yeah, the first
appreciate
one's
it.
free. No.
Thank you for your time
The
today.
flag may change. We're trying to be inclusive to make sure we're missing one of our tribes on the language on the flag. We're trying to do a flag edit, and that's always controversial in itself. So someday it might look a little bit different, but we have one for you.
Thank you so much.
I'll reserve my comment on the flag.
We encourage emailed comments to Robert McDonald at cskt.org.
All right, we have another walk-in. Oh yeah, Daniel Ross, come on up. Good morning. Can you push the button on your mic and then Abby can hear you, the recorder. There you go.
So good morning. How's everybody today? Good. Okay, so the first issue, do I just leave this on? Okay, so the first issue I have is my social work. So I do emotional, mental, physical awareness, and I used to work with Pearl Kai. And now that I've been here, I see more of a need. I've been gone for like 10, 15 years and raising my kids in Columbus, which is a 10% crime rate town. And so I come to here and there's no ordinance. And so I want to make it better for my kid to come into this, to move him into this communities. And no, I went up to tribal health twice to get my job back, and Pearl Kai doesn't work there no more. And I used to work 5 to 8, helping parents engage, such as single parents that have trauma. And now that I know trauma, and I went through a divorce with my husband and lost my kids and my husband, life, whatever. And so now I'm able to do my job better. But Pearl Kai is not here. I went up to tribal health twice to get my job. She never called me back. She never left. She never made me flyers, and her name was Tracy. So I just want to try to get that job back again because it helps people engage in the community. It brings everybody out so we're not missing people. So our kids are able to be seen, parents, you know, and it helps them. And I know everybody here, you know, and I know their habits. I'm able to do my job a lot better, but I just can't get through to anybody to apply for the position. And I worked for maintenance for the tribe for 6 months from January to June. And I clean all these buildings. That was the first issue. And the second issue was my preservation of the land. My auntie Julie Kajun and Danny Decker did an awesome documentary, but I put in the hard work. When I was here, we did 3,000 native plants a day. We did 4-foot holes. We did 2-foot hole trees along the St. Ignatius and Evro, and we did 600 per person of Western larch, pine, you know, ponderosa pine, all that. And this year they only did 4 weeks, and we did spring, summer, and fall. We worked in the greenhouse. And so I just want to know what's going on with that. And the other issue I had was gravel. I went to get my 12 feet of gravel and have Glacier move it. And he said we'd have to pick through our gravel here, that there's big rocks in it. And I have people that work in Columbus 406 excavate, and they've delivered good gravel to me. And here he sent me to Glacier. I said, why doesn't our tribe have good gravel? So it was just 3 issues I had. So I just thank you guys for letting me talk about my issues. And I just like to get them resolved if I can in any way possible. Because this community really needs it. And with the kids missing and on the drugs, I find it's a really resourceful thing that could be for the kids and families.
Thanks for coming in, Daniel. And, you know, as far as job openings, you got to be persistent. Persistence will prevail for, you know, getting, you know, a permanent job or back where you were. There has to be an opening first of all. You know, it's difficult to say that I left and I come right back and there's a job for me.
Yeah.
You have to sometimes wait a while for that to happen.
Yeah. I just seen Pearl in the Walmart before she left. And she was pushing out 2 carts and she's like, where are you? I could use you.
I know.
But nobody wants to do it.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah. And
That
so
is-
I look around and nobody's doing what we did.
Yeah. Well,
And
you know, persistence in that department, that's where your best amount of effort is going to be. As far as the other ones, we have Tony Incashola Jr. on. He could talk about the tree planting or the trees and the gravel. Those are both under his oversight. So as far as we've always talked about having our own gravel type stuff.
okay.
Yeah. The gravel worked up is depending upon the college partnership to have them work it up in our pit. So I guess there is a possibility that we would have more gravel. But as far as the trees, I don't know what the season is there. Tony, are you on?
Yeah. Hi. Sorry, I missed part of the conversation. I was on a Zoom with legal. I did, you know, as for the gravel, those requests can go to lands. I don't know if who you discussed that with there. But that tribal pit kind of the availability of those kind of depend on we do have a partnership with SKC for them to be out there to work up that gravel. And so the quality or the amount of gravel we have on hand depends on SKC, and well, I wouldn't say fully depends, but a lot of it depends on SKC and their working up of that gravel. But if you go to Lands, you can talk with Mark Couture and or Louis McDonald. He can show you or give you the availability of gravel. I do know there is a amount allotted to each tribal program, tribal member, but that amount isn't included of delivery. So there's an amount there, but you would have to figure out a avenue to have it delivered or gathered on your expense, which, you know, there are some tribal vendors out there that have the ability to move it and haul it for you, and go from there. As for tree planting, I missed most of that conversation, but I do know, I think Steve McDonald just logged on or was on, and he would be the contact himself or Lyndon Plant as the forest development program manager to see what our tree planting schedule is. We do want to plant trees every year depending on the availability of conifers that we grow and logging schedule that happens prior to that.
I think Daniel's concern was it seemed like a shorter season.
Yes,
like
it was.
normal.
When I was here, we did spring, summer, and fall. And we did native plants. We did 3,000 native plants a day, which we dug 4-foot holes. And we did other trees along the 93, which were 2-foot holes trees. And then the little ones that we did were the 4 different kinds of western larch and stuff and pine. And we just did those. We did 600 trees a day per person, 2 acres a person. And so with them doing only 4 weeks, I see that with the preservation documentary that my auntie did, I see there's more of a need for it than 4 weeks. And they're not even doing native plants.
We definitely do native plants. A lot of times that might not be depending on the need or the schedule that we have out. The scheduling and amount of planting every year depends on again the logging schedule prior to that, to have the ground open, site prepped, and in line with timing and availability if we needed that site burnt or what type of site prep activity. The last couple of years, unfortunately, you know, we've been dealing with fires, and a lot of those plantings happen within fire rehab areas, which were large acres, large quantities, and we did bid out to contractors in order to make that efficient and done. As for the amount of tribal crews planting, I think they did a spring and a fall. We rarely do it in the summertime, based on just because planting in the summer is a harsh time to plant, and success rates during that time is hard. So is the fall. You know, historically we found tree planting in the spring to have a higher success rate, because having that perfect timing of fall planting is hard to do based on when the moisture is going to be there to have that success of that planting. So any scheduling of those, I would, you know, again, talk with Linden Plant to see. They try to plan out 1 to 2 years of their schedule, because they have to have the trees grown within their greenhouse for those 1 to 2 years prior in order to have that schedule out. So I would discuss that with them. I'm not sure what they have planned, you know, for this, if they have any fall planting planned for this year. But I would imagine we definitely have planting scheduled for the spring, which is our go-to season now.
Okay, I just thought during the summer, we usually worked in the greenhouse and got things ready for the fall. And then there was a little bit of planting in the fall, but most of it was in the spring. But we at least had 3 months in the spring rather than 4 weeks. So I don't know if that's just do it on the contracting or bidding.
Yeah, and I imagine, like I said, they had a lot of contracting this last go around because of a large area. I think it was nearly a few thousand acres, correct, Steve? Within the Hog Heaven area due to fire rehab, and we still have greenhouse workers. That's for sure. If you're interested in working in a greenhouse, I think Lyndon Plant's sitting there now. He would be the man to talk to see what type of positions are available in the greenhouse. We have people in there nearly year round now because of the size of operation.
Okay, I wasn't looking for a job. That I was just concerned about it, about the preservation of the land and the trees and the work that I've done and what's going on now. So I'm just kind of curious, I guess, of why I need more.
I mean, I'll let them speak to the amount of work, but you know, previously I was within the forestry program and with Lyndon's seat prior to that. You know, our greenhouse program and facility is top notch and do not only restoration of native plants and conifers here on this reservation, but we also provide native plants and conifers to other reservations and other native plant restoration sites regionally. You know, we grow over a million plants a year that get sent out for restoration projects within the region.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you, Daniel, for coming in.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for listening to me.
So is there anything needed other from forestry at this point?
Good, Steve. You're good. Thank you.
Okay, all right. We just thought if we were there available for answers if you needed us, so.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Jen.
Michelle down here.
I think we're good. I'll be around. Anything else?
Also, Michelle. Okay.
All right, we'll go to Danielle.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry. Yes, good morning. Just a quick reminder, today is the last day to file for candidacy for the upcoming tribal elections. There is an MMIP walk tomorrow at noon. They'll be gathering across from Super One Foods there and walking to the courthouse. Let me open my flyer really quick. Tammy Couture is putting on this event, Justice for Anaya for her granddaughter, Anaya Star Charlo. So yeah, it's a little one that had passed away back in 2021. So everybody's invited to come support Tammy Couture and her family. And then just a shout out to Casey Ryan for always being available to help out with things. After hours, got a call from a tribal member yesterday here at the office, and Casey was able to take the call and work through it, even going into after hours and get the issue resolved for Mr. Haynes. So just yeah, kudos to him. Thank you.
Thanks, Danielle. Go ahead, Martin.
I'm gonna do a district meeting on the 16th of this month in the evening at 6:30. And if you want, I think Carol just jumped on, so it's a Ronan Pablo Ronan, we'll call it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let's change the name of Ronan while we're at it. Start more controversy. The flag will be a topic of discussion, I'm sure. That was the one of the catalysts for it, and I'll be bringing education in to give an update on any services they're providing. I think Michelle left. I was announcing that right now, but I'm sure I'll have a couple other topics. Excuse my mush mouth.
I'll try to make it. Thank you, Martin. Just quickly, Mission Valley Lives does their series of concerts, performing arts. between Ronan and Polson, and I passed out a couple of tickets for all of you to be promotional. I usually go to a couple of them every year, and it's usually a lot of fun. Those performers usually also perform in the public school system. You know, the national, whatever they call it, Assembly Association. So some of them are really good, and just be aware that they want your attendance and want you to be a spokesman for folks that don't get to see arts or performers very often. So with that, we will go into executive session real quick. Or Len and Carol's issues. Out of executive and open, and we have Ruth up first. The big budget. You guys ready for that? Talking about money. Are we gonna be able to do it? Pull some money out of them piggy bank somewhere. Yeah. You know, that's the bad news. Like, folks, I want to tell you that right now. I did not win the $1.4 billion. No, it's going up to 1.7. So if you buy a ticket and you win it on the next draw, you will truly, on the cash option, get $1 billion. You'll be a billionaire. Greg's investment strategy is to buy a bunch of Powerball tickets for us.
Can we have one more walk-in for Shirley?
Just briefly.
Sure. Yeah, surely. That's Grex.
Esquext, everybody. I was here this morning. I was going to meet my granddaughter here because she had some concerns and she wanted my support, I guess. So that's why I'm here, and I'm going to ask her to make an appointment with the council and keep that appointment, and I'll be with her. And it concerns land, so I'd like to have marked there too. So when she makes that appointment, well, I'll be here with her. That's why I'm here. I still have a lot of time, so I'm going to go shopping now. Yeah, I'll have a good day.
You too, Shirley.
Esquext.
Yeah, go ahead, Carol.
I kind of know what it was because I got a call from Shauna and she was very upset that I had taken action to, I don't know if it said in the minutes that we took the property from her down there at the home site of Durgalo. And I said, and I guess one of the ladies from the legal department had called Shauna Schultz and told her, look at the minutes. They just took it from you or something anyway. But that's not what the minute says. The minutes say that she has an opportunity to select what site she wants where her mom and stepdad lived. And I don't know how in the heck I got people yelling at me and saying this and that. But anyway, it's I think she just needs to come in and like visit with the chair and just be told. Oh, was she? Oh, okay. I'm off the hook then. But yeah, she was just very upset. I thought the minutes were like, gave her too much leeway to have an opportunity to select any one of those home site parcels right in that area. That's what it said. And I thought, well, we should have just identified one and she had something to be mad about. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Greg, Ruth. Come on up, spin the wheel. I was watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Celebrity, and it was It was the guy from Jeopardy with what's his name? Ken Jennings and the host's nemesis that he's always making fun of. And it was a great show. They won $1 million.
We can dream.
Good morning.
All right, that's correct. So council, here, back with the refined figures for total appropriations that go to the actions that you agreed last Thursday. So the revised total appropriations down to 217,439,901. And including those capital equipment acquisitions for those estimated costs. And if you take action to approve the resolution, then we can go forward. Once we take the or obtain your approval of the appropriations as here, we put out detailed tables that are posted to places like SharePoint and Microsoft Teams. So yourselves and all management officials can view this, and it can be shared however, but we do not publicly distribute this unless specifically requested to do so. But it is, once you've approved it, it is part of the resolution. So at least this part is more or less public. The tables are for the programs to know their actual allocations, and they can see what all the other information is as well.
Any questions from council? Yeah, go ahead, Len.
Kind of related, but kind of not, but have we ever made a determination on what a livable wage was?
No, not as far as I know. I mean, there's information out there relative to like Montana.
I mean, for our area.
Go ahead, Greg.
The last time the finance group made any evaluation and determination was during the COVID, or forgive me, the ARPA supplement to employees, in which we took the Montana median income level as the benchmark to determine eligibility for that. In my recollection, I can get you those figures, but that's the last time the finance group was involved in looking at what the median income level was in the state of Montana. I can get that for you today.
Okay. And the reason why I bring this up is I was talking with one of the department heads about the language programs. As we progress further into the curriculum, it's been challenging and harder to recruit more members to participate in the language program. And when I think one of the factors is because of the salary. So I brought up the idea, well, maybe we need to increase the salaries for the apprenticeship program for both language programs. And I know they were talking, and this was before they were putting their budget together. So I don't know if they included that in their budget or not, that in this year's budget. But I think that's something that we should be really cognizant of, because our language programs are they're struggling. They're struggling just trying to find people and then keeping people in the program. So, but I think that was one of the main factors. Was I think we need to increase the rate of pay for our language people. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Len. I think a livable wage is an issue, and paying people appropriately in every field of the government that we provide in our corporations also. But that's where you create your own pay schedule, your own base minimum wage that's livable, and then maybe reset the whole pay plan based upon that. That's one way to look at it, but I wouldn't say that one entity is in more need than others when we're talking about, paying, $12 an hour, $15 an hour, $17 an hour, whatever it might be. It's across the board, especially now with, you know, as I mentioned before, inflation and, you know, the tariff taxes going on and everything just going up. Yeah, nothing's getting cheaper. So it's pretty dramatic. It's going to get worse come next year after the full force of the great beautiful bill comes into effect. The facility,
Can you turn your mic on, Tuti?
the facility,
The facility. But there was not a monetary donation that we,
go ahead, James.
Yeah, not a donation, but they had a contract with the DOOR program through Tribal Health, but I don't know if they still got a budget for that or not.
okay.
Because that's been cut, but they had a contract with Tribal Health.
Okay, one of the things I was just thinking about, and I just wanted to throw out there for the council to think about is, I would like us to utilize some of our opioid settlement dollars to help with programs like NARS. You know, because they provide a vital service, and not only that, they've shown the success in the community. And I just think that we need to just be a little bit more cognizant of the services they provide, and myself, I'd like to see us help them more financially. And I think we have that opportunity with our opioid settlement, because you know what, we haven't spent $1 yet. So.
Thank you, Lynn. I think we set up a small amount for funding for that in the annual budget, if I'm not mistaken, Greg. But we were also waiting for them to come forward with recommendations, and the good thing that Michelle's here, because that's where it was lying, was an annual budget proposal and recommendations from everybody on how to appropriately spend that funding. Interest of the funding.
Correct. There is a perpetual endowment to the tribes that's built off of that rate of interest. But as yet, no program has come forth with that. And I think that the request is to make sure that the intended expenses align with the approved uses. And that is, I believe, right in the neighborhood of about 125 to 150,000 a year. That's part of that planned expenditure. And my request would be that a plan come forward, we can allocate that immediately.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Ruth.
So, Mr. Chairman, and yes, Mr. Tuteeth, annually, the amount is setting right in the center of this table, the center column in the settlement, opioid settlement, $125,000. As Greg has just explained, we've been awaiting direction and guidance from the groups that we would anticipate would have the most involvement in those sorts of discussions as to how and when to spend the money. And that because Patricia is now gone, and I understand Michelle is temporarily assigned that, then I would ask that you give that direction accordingly. But the allocation is there. We have planned for it, and we just need the specific program budget activities. As Greg says, there are approved uses. We have to be pretty strictly adherent to those. They're very straightforward. I mean, it's nothing that you wouldn't expect. And so once something comes forward, we can put it in place and proper oversight and reporting of that. We have to report on the expenditures annually. So I'm afraid unless something is launched before the end of this year, once again, we will report that we have expended no money. So.
It's the great thing about setting up as an endowment, because then we're going to build up and we're going to actually have more of an annual budget every year. So yeah, Michelle, that's something that was Patty was supposed to follow through with. Brian Upton is the expert on it. There actually, I think there are 2 more settlements that might come through that would be additive to the trust fund, I guess you could say, will increase its value. So, but appropriately, it has to fall within those parameters of the lawsuits and the distribution as the court saw fit. And there is reporting requirements, as Ruth said. So it would fall within your temporary zone.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions about the budget? Are we ready to approve it? The resolution? See heads nodding. Are those motions and seconds, or this kind of motion by Carol, second by Bing? Any further discussion to approve the resolution for the next fiscal year budget? Seeing none, all's in favor? Go ahead, Carol.
There is no cost of living in there, is there?
We are not providing any cost of living adjustment across the board.
Except for per capita.
The only increase is per cap, correct?
The unanimous vote? Everybody, yeah, that counts. You moved your hand. Unanimous.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Go ahead, Lynn.
In regards to the cost of living, so why didn't we include that in next year's budget?
Go ahead, Ruth.
My understanding is when the tribe converted from its former pay plan to the methodology employed by the pay scale service, that we do a benchmarking annually, and market basis could cause an increase to pay of certain positions. So that's what I'm familiar with, and that's how you went away from this annual review of, say, the CPI that might adjust a pay plan, because we're no longer on a pay plan and haven't been for 5 years.
4 or 5.
It's been a long time, quite a while. So when you probably hear, I've seen in council minutes that various departments go in because their funding agency gives them cost of living in their funding. And so that's just, to me, and the way I look at it, it's making it available. Should those positions be adjusted for that? I don't know. I could not answer whether they have to absolutely base it on that. But I could spend days talking to you about what I'm observing in the current pay structure, the way the methodology is being employed. Great deal of comments I could give you on that. But in kind of hearing Carol's question, we have the programs submit their budgets with 3% across the board increase to salaries. This allows them to do the merit-based increases for performance. It gives them some allowance for any market-based increases that the pay scale methodology could provide. But cost of living in general terms, no, it's not. That's not what we're doing presently. The reality is, no matter what is provided either by the funding agency or the reality of CPI or inflation, is that the resources are what they are, and the programs have to live within those resources. And that's just the hard reality that we're all under right now. And the budgets are being held at the same total levels. So if programs are increasing their staffing or the staffing cost, they are having to manage for that. And we're seeing quite a few adjustments coming about because of that.
Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah.
Ruth. Easy for me to say. All right. Next up. Lynn? You're pretty rusty with you, or what's the deal there? We're just following you? He's following you around, huh?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and the rest of the council. I actually covered this, I think, last week with legal, and then realized we were in executive, so I had to come back. If you recall, last week, I think it was last week, council approved extending the BPA resident fish acquisition MOU. The chairman signed that last week. It is now in BPA making its route for signature. But what I've been doing with that funding is using appraisers and surveyors that meet the BPA muster and, are really responsive to us, and can do yellow book appraisals as well as CFID surveys if need be for fee to trust purposes. So basically what I've been doing for years now is, I've filtered some out because we had trouble with them or whatever, is extending contracts with those appraisers and surveyors so that as each project comes up, I then contact those contractors, say, what's your time frame, what's your price, and proceed with, whoever's got the best package. So with the funding imminent, I am requesting today approval to extend Hogan Real Estate Appraisals, McGinnis Real Estate Group, Karsten Surveying, and Duffy Land Surveying through the next MOU period, which will be 2028, using that same process, as well as adding funds to each of their contracts, which we do have the pre-acquisition contracts signed right now. So we do have that funding now.
Go ahead, Lynn.
So Lynn, what does Hogan Real Estate and McGinnis Real Estate charge us for an appraisal?
It varies on the complexity of the project. Some appraisals, you have to take a very complex approach under federal acquisition guidelines.
Say a yellow book appraisal.
Yellow book, yes. So that's what's required for BPA and actually for some of our other funding sources that we utilize. So they can get a little bit expensive, in the $7,000 range. Because, sometimes because of the before and after approach and that kind of thing, but they can also be as cheap as, $4,000. So it just depends on the complexity of the project.
Okay.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion to approve the contract modifications to extend the listed businesses through fiscal year 28. Go ahead.
Another comment,
Go ahead, Lynn.
Chairman and members of the council, just something to think about. I would like us to have our executive team looking at options on when we're doing these types of contracts on how we can use these as training opportunities for the membership. If I know Karsten Surveying, I know they've hired tribal members in the past. I know Duffy, they've hired tribal members in the past. But when it comes to appraisals, I know we've struggled with trying to get an appraiser on staff. I don't think we've had an appraiser on staff since Don Andrews. But I think that would be really beneficial if we can start trying to recruit and then utilizing these types of contracts to mentor or train our membership, our tribal members in those fields. So just something to think about because we've been missing a lot of opportunities like that, especially with these multi-million-dollar contracts with these engineering and consultant firms. I just want to look at it from different angles on how we can benefit from those contracts that we provide, because some of those, like I said, some of those are large contracts and a lot of that money doesn't stay local. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lynn. Go ahead, Lynn.
I was just going to say Doug Tapia still works for Karsten's. He actually does a lot of our projects, but I know he went through and mentored under Karsten. So yeah, I think he did. So yeah, he's still there, which is great.
Sounds like an educational opportunity, huh, Michelle? Any further questions? Once again, I would entertain a motion. Motion by Len. Second by Carol. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Action is approved. Thank you, Lynn. All right.
When you make it down to the barbecue for Hollywood?
Had a conflict. All right, NRD. This Tabitha? You online?
Yep, I'm online.
Okay, Tabitha, you're up.
Okay. Rich, did you want to start off with anything? I see you sitting there. You want me just to go?
Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, members of the council. I am presenting this morning. I think we've got some fisheries folks there as well, and Brian Upton is had worked on this as well with me, so he should be there as well. So what I'm here this morning about is the Jocko Spring Creek mitigation site. So we've talked to the council about this in the past, and this is kind of the final step. So we've got two documents for your review and approval, hopefully. One is the agreement, the legal agreement between Freshwater Partners and the tribes that just establishes all the terms for that site, how it's going to function for the next 5 years, and then what it looks like as it transitions into full transitions back to the tribes for full management of the long-term mitigation site. So all those terms are outlined in the agreement. And then the second document is the site protection resolution, which the site protection resolution is very comparable to what you've approved in the past for the Crow Creek mitigation site. So I would anticipate that we may not have a whole lot of discussion on that, but we can get to that if you do. So I think probably we'll start with the agreement document. And I don't know if you guys want to go through it or if you have specific questions. It's kind of a long document that our legal, Brian Upton from our legal team, and then their legal folks, and then staff from both agencies, and then also the shoreline protection has also approved this. So the site has been approved by the Army Corps of Engineers and the Shoreline Board. So this would be the final step, is to get the tribal council approval to use the site for mitigation for wetland impacts that are regulated by the Corps of Engineers and wetland impacts that are regulated by the Shoreline Board. So I don't know if you want to ask questions or how you want to go about this.
Thanks, Tabitha. Any questions about the agreement? I have a motion to approve the agreement with Montana Freshwater Partners by James. Second by Bing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? I think we have a unanimous for that. So I guess now we move on to the preservation resolution.
Yep. So the resolution, the main way that it would be different here than the Crow Creek site, the Crow Creek one was obviously entirely tribal, so we didn't have an external partner. So this resolution does establish some terms for access. There's kind of the 5-year period roughly until Freshwater Partners meets all their performance standards as approved by the Shoreline Board and the Army Corps. So this agreement specifies that they can access the site. There's certain activities that they can do on site during that period. And then after that period is over, then it would transition back into tribal. And then it establishes all the same terms that Crow has, where it would be protected in perpetuity for the wetland habitat values and stream habitat values there. So are there questions specific to the resolution?
Questions from council? No questions. I entertain a motion to approve the resolution. Motion by Carol. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all is in favor? I think we got another Yippanune.
All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank you, Tabitha.
Bye.
Okay, gentlemen.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm here with Brian Ogenson, Hoagie, as we call him, and Casey Ryan. The next,
Wait, Tom. We have Michelle here for Carrie Antoine ECA.
Oh, okay. Okay, hey, Carrie's up before you guys.
Yeah.
oh, I
Come on.
thought NRD, okay,
No, man, you just
we'll sit.
way to way to
I
confuse
do
me.
apologize.
Like always,
Mr. Chair and
you're
Council.
always confusing me. Come on. Ladies first. Sorry about that, Michelle.
That's okay.
Good morning. I'm here for Carrie. We're requesting approval for one-time only funding through the Office of Head Start. And it's a real quick turnaround. It's a 2-week turnaround for this. There is in kind that we've matched. And then our request of them is on the very back page, page 34 for you guys. So the total request is $683,977. With our 170,994 in kind, it's a total of 854,971. And this is specifically for healthy kids. So they can use the money to purchase kitchen equipment and food and equipment to transfer the food as well.
Carol?
Is there a reason why she's not here? Is it the funeral?
Yeah, she was here, but she had to go to the funeral, so I stepped in for her.
If she's well aware of it, I'll take action to approve.
Motion by Carol to approve the resolution for the grant application. Second by Danielle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all is in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Michelle, do you have any idea if this is one of those funding sources that are in jeopardy in the future?
We don't know anything yet, right? And so this specific one was leftover funding, so that's why it's one-time only funding. But the overall Head Start funding is like, it's targeted, so we have to keep our eyes and our ears open for it for sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
We will take a 5-minute break.
Rich, did you want that in executive? Can we go in executive?
Yeah, we'll move into executive. When we reconvene, we'll be in executive. Gentlemen, go ahead.
Thank you. Council, today, I make a motion to
Recommend.
today, make a motion to waive the exercise of the tribal water rate for this off-season related to stock water deliveries, provided that FIP water diversions comply with the statutory and regulatory constraints such as the Endangered Species Act, the biological opinion for bull trout, as well as maintaining minimum in-stream flows within area streams. As a result, FIP may need to reduce or curtail water diversions to comply with existing regulatory requirements.
Thank you, Brian. Based on the fact that the mitigation has been in play and there's been many projects successfully implemented, but not all of them have been done yet. But we see definitely a sunset to the project timeline. I would recommend, as Doer has recommended, that we take action on this as suggested. Motion by Bing. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Unanimous? Further, we'd like to make sure that, for the record, that we think about those tribal contractors, especially in fire, that have equipment that can haul water when we talk about mitigation for stock water related to your projects that are currently underway, and those folks that might not be able to utilize the stock water diversion points from the in-stream flow considerations that it can haul water through contractor.
Thank you for that recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Rich.
If I can have a minute just to, I want to inform the council on what NRD and Doer is doing. We are formulating a crackpot team that's meeting weekly currently to look at ways to employ tribal member contractors into the future with doer projects. I'm also looking into the 477 funding opportunities for the educational component and working with tribal education. And I just had a meeting with some individuals yesterday on that option that we may be coming into the future to talk with tribal council about. I'm looking at the necessary needed PDs in our division, such as engineers, hydrologists, and GIS analysts, that we can recruit tribal members to go into those fields, as well as looking at smaller contracts into the future that we can help tribal member contractors get versed on how to bid projects, how to look at these projects, and how to be successful. What you're seeing currently that's been coming in to you are these large scale based contracts that are very complicated and very difficult, and only a few large businesses are able to do these types of things. But we're also working with Melinda Charlo and the legal team to see if there's any type of language we can put into our contracts that will require these large scale businesses to hire tribal member contractors when they come here and work. We know currently they are supposed to look for tribal member contractors to work on their projects, and a lot do. We've had some great success currently. And we do know that our mitigation projects are doing well with tribal member contractors. Tabitha's last contract down at the Bison Range Reach, she did 12 individual contracts with all tribal member vendors. And that was a large task on her part to do that. But we got all tribal member vendors to work on that project. And one tribal member is actually working for the general contractor down there with Davis Bacon Wages. So we've had some success as well as recruiting tribal members to come work for us and see if they like these types of positions. One just kind of fell off the face of the earth about a year ago and ghosted us. The other one decided that she fell in love and got married and moved away with her husband and is working for the state. So there's things that we're doing that are successful, but we can't control what these young tribal members do. And we're a small pool of people, you know, and so we're looking at new ways to try to recruit to these generations that I'm not a part of, you know, but they're younger generations. So we've had some success, and I wanted to make that clear to the tribal council that we are doing some good things, but we still have opportunities to make it better. And that's what we're working on. So I wanted to make that abundantly clear and informative to you today. So thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Just for the record, though, I would say you're developing you have a creative, excellent team versus a crackpot team.
Both.
Well, they're really that. They're crazy and absurd. Okay.
I mean, we're meeting weekly.
Okay.
And we're going to have an educational summit for all these vendors, tribal member contractors, November 2nd and 5th, I believe, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and then we're gonna invite them to ask questions. You know, we want to know what they need help with. And so we're gonna be there helping them. That's our goal. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Casey, Brian.
Thank you.
I believe we'll move back into executives for legal updates, open session. Go ahead, Dan.
I'll ask Brian to come up again and give more context. So Brian, I'll hand it off to you.
Jen, do you have a preferred order or should I just? Okay. Mr. Vice Chair, the first resolution that we're asking approval for would be to engage the Sonoski Law Firm to represent the tribes with respect to Indian Health Service contract support cost claims, possibly going back to FY 2018 through the present.
Motion to approve.
Motion by James to approve.
Yes, we've submitted a claim for 2018. It looks like we may be withdrawing it, but these things are dynamic. So I just want to give cover in case it changes again.
Second by Martin. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? See, we have 8-4, one out of the room, Len's out of the room. Motion passes.
Thank you. And the next resolution would be to authorize the tribes to direct tribal funds towards completion of a real property acquisition under the Hungry Horse Dam Resident Fish Mitigation Program to be reimbursed by BPA funds.
Motion by Martin to approve the bridge funding. Second by Bing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you for your time, Council. Appreciate
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, John. I'm gonna call on you, man. You
Can
know
we
it.
go back into executive for the interviews that are next?
We will go into executive for the upcoming. We can make the motion. Motion by James to accept the ballot voting for James Taylor to fill the Attorney Associate Justice position. Second by Danielle. All those in favor? Unanimous, except for Carol. Carol's abstaining. Excuse me, so we have, well, Martin's out of the room. He voted, but 6-4, one abstaining, one out of the room.
Can we go back into executive when you're done?
Yep, we sure can. We'll go back into executive. We gotta do the appointees. We have SKQK meat processing board, and we have 2 applicants that could fill the 2 positions with a recommendation to put Bud Gillen, applicant, in the 3-year term, and Edwin Dupuy in the 2-year term, and the 3rd term for 1 year re-advertise because of incomplete application. Motion by James. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? All's in favor? Unanimous with, well, excuse me, Martin's out of the room. 7-4, one out of the room. Thank you, Mel. We will move back into executive. Go ahead, Martin.
Motion to approve the wildland firefighter GSA resolution that is presented from us, the corrected version.
Motion by Martin to approve the resolution to adopt the wildland firefighter GW firefighter pay scale for the fire program. Second by Bing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 1, 2, 7, 4, 1 abstention. Carol? Renee? Steve, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you make that statement for the record and it'll appear in the minutes. So go ahead and say it all over again. Got to use a mic though. Now we need a mic. Abby can't hear you.
Implementation of,
We're just going to take it out of your salary, Steve.
well, hey, retirement's not that far off, so implementation of the pay scale that was adopted through this resolution wouldn't go into effect until funding was established for it. That's correct, Ron? Okay.
Thank you, Steve. We'll make sure that appears in the minutes. Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Ron, Steve, your whole crews. Make sure that, as always, you thank all your firefighters and everyone out there for protecting us, and big thank you. We should do a end of the year something for you guys, because you guys have killed all the fires. We haven't had a fire season here, unfortunately for some people, but I enjoy the clear skies and everything, and knowing that the smoke isn't from here. So thank you guys. Much.
So was any sheep casualties in that fire? Are they all on tribal land then and huntable?
You know, my trucks were on the Bevins fire. Did you guys send somebody down to highway or the interstate when they brought that body through?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they lined up the interstate with cops and fire trucks and all kinds of things. I never thought about it either until after I was.
Keep up good work. I'll become a firefighter. We'll push through. Go ahead, Len.
Just real quick, I just wanted to talk with council. So I've been communicating with some family members and some friends of Jory Hunter. I told you guys about Jory's situation with the water. I think they did find out what the situation was. It was just a broken pipe, but we need resources to dig up the pipe and get a contractor in there to fix the pipe. Otherwise, what happens is the city of St. Ignatius will shut the water off. And just based on her medical condition, she needs water. So I just wanted to give council an update. I'm going to continue to try to seek out resources within the tribe to help her out, even if we have to find a contractor that'll help her, and then we could just find the funding to pay for that. But I think it's just critical that we get her water back up and running at her residence. So unless Carol got an update on that.
Small one. I got a call from Sharon. Anyway, she said that Jory was going to be out of water, and I told her that we were well aware of the situation, but I suggested she call Dire Need and try to get Jory a room at the closest hotel if she was going to be out of water. And so I'm hoping that Dire Need will just go ahead and help Jory get into a room if that's what's required for water needs.
Thanks for that update, Len. Hopefully it gets fixed. Tracy, you're up. We just have some council that have to exit, so we're going to have to move fast through the rest of the agenda.
I can be out of here in 60 seconds. Is that good?
Well, that might be pretty amazing.
I can take a hint.
Well, you're kind of conversing with me, so it may take longer.
Stop talking. Okay, so you all should have in front of you a resolution request. We would like to finish up our Part B reimbursement program, which we have been working on since late January of this year. In the interest of defending the PRC funds that are being used at a higher rate than we've ever seen before, and in light of the fact that we know that the PRC budget is going to be cut for next fiscal year, in the defense of those funds, we would like to enroll both descendants of CS and KT and members of other federally recognized tribes that are enrolled with our tribal health department, which thereby makes tribal health responsible for their care. Since I last was here to talk to you about this, we've had 3 members of other tribes and 2 descendants that have managed to become quite sick. One of them needed a Flight for Life helicopter ride that is likely going to bill out at $42,000. They have no coverage for that. That's going to fall entirely to tribal health paid care. If we had an opportunity to put coverage in place for them, the vast majority of them, that would have been covered. So in the interest of shoring up all of Part B reimbursement, we would like to extend that reimbursement to another 285 descendants and members of other federally recognized tribes. To bring you up to date, we have since January enrolled 455 members of CS and KT in our reimbursement program. We have also increased our enrollment in our sponsorship program to 208. So that's 663 people that are already receiving some form of reimbursement for their Part B premiums. We can do this and still be within 50% of the original allocation from the resolution that was already signed. We'd like to get this I'm sorry, go ahead.
So is this going to occur every year?
That is the intention, yes.
And so do these same folks have to sign up every year and reapply?
The reimbursement programs?
Yes.
Yes, and the sponsorship program. The sponsorship program we monitor a little more often than the reimbursement program because it's handled on a month-by-month basis. But yes, for all of these programs, they will have to recertify that they are still enrolled with our tribal health department, which makes tribal health liable for their care. They're going to have to confirm specifically with the members of other tribes. We will contact each of the tribes that they are enrolled with to confirm that their tribe does not do a reimbursement. We're not aware of any that do, but we're not going to guess at that. So yes, every year they will have to come back and establish residency. We'll have to make sure that they are still enrolled with tribal health for care here. And then we also have to shore up other things, make sure they haven't changed their accounts and things like that. So there's some housekeeping to do, and then there's some certification to do, and that will happen every year.
Motion by Carol to approve the expansion of the Medicare B sponsorship program to descendants and members of other tribes that are in our care area or service area. Second by Bing. Any further discussion?
Should that increase the level of people getting services?
We are hopeful that that will increase billable dollars for tribal health.
Yeah.
Although that frankly is secondary, the main focus of this is that keeping Part B in place or putting Part B in place alleviates 80% of their cost to PRC funds.
Okay.
So it's a matter of, particularly for the tremendously sick, it saves tribal health huge amounts of money in a very short order. So it's twofold. It also expands all tribal members' access to care. If we have to refer them out because they need care that tribal health cannot provide, without Medicare Part B in place, they are considered by outside providers as uninsured. That makes it tough to get them into new appointments.
I have a crazy question. I should have
Sure.
asked you this yesterday.
That's okay.
Should I be on Social Security or not Social Security, but Medicaid? I
Okay,
haven't
so
signed up for Social Security
we
yet.
would be talking about Medicare for you. Can I answer that publicly? You've asked me publicly.
Yeah.
When last we spoke about this, you had group insurance in place.
through your employment here. As long as that has remained in place, that's where you should stay until you decide to retire.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Martin. Personal question.
Carol, when I decided to draw Social Security, I signed up for Medicare B at the same time. And I dropped my other insurance.
And you can certainly do those things at the same time, but you don't have to do those things at the same time. So, in light of the discussion yesterday, that's a conversation you and I will have in January. Okay? All right.
Yeah, before we vote on, my only concern about it was, having more Indians from other tribes decide to come here and retire. And then have a new boost of interest of people moving here. And then not only, it theoretically should still pan out, but maybe not, because there's a demand on other services unrelated to Medicare B reimbursement or healthcare. That's why I wanted to know the number.
Mm-hmm.
So you say we have 200 and...
So right now, we have 208 tribal members in our sponsorship program. We have 455 in our reimbursement program. We are looking to extend the reimbursement program to 285 descendants and members of
285,
other.
that's what I wrote down.
Yep.
So that number of 285 is what we'd want to monitor through time. So still gonna save us money, but there is a threshold where other resources get consumed if we get a bunch of people moving here. I think it's always been based on funding availability.
It's based on funding availability, and the agreement does state that they will have to requalify at tribal health's behest every year. So it exists. It gives us the opportunity to make changes if we need to.
So we had a motion by Carol, second by Bing. Any further discussions? Yep, go ahead, Danielle.
With this being so new, I am excited because I think it's going to really save us some big bucks, but I'm curious to see that, I guess, in a year, maybe how much we've saved versus how much we're putting out. Cause I know when we put this out and we see this resolution, $3,060,000, that's a lot of money. And so I think that we need to ask to see that on an annual basis, what that savings is to make sure it's at least that 3 million and then some is what the goal is.
I could not agree more. I'm never going to advocate to spend money that does not end up protecting both tribal members and tribal health. To maybe give you a minute's rest before I can provide that a year from now. The only other tribe that we know of that has a reimbursement program in place of any size is a tribe in Oklahoma. They have roughly 12,000 tribal members. Their reimbursement program has been slow to start due to tremendous lack of experience and understanding. They started so far behind square one, it was kind of amazing. They just in June of this year put out their savings. They have 237 tribal members that they track in their reimbursement program. That reimbursement program has been around for 11 years, and they can track that they have saved $70 million. So I don't know that we'll be able to show per person that kind of savings, but we are certainly tracking what would have been if they hadn't had the coverage in place.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous. I love it.
You and me both.
Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had a question from an elder
Mm-hmm.
who was wondering when their payments go in. Is it the first pay period, the second period? Is it random? Is it just, old people like to know when their money's coming in.
Okay. In light of the fact that we have two programs, but let's go with an educated guess here. If they are getting a monthly reimbursement, then that generally happens between the first Friday of the month and the third Friday of the month, because it depends on a whole lot of people not taking PTO in the middle of that. So we submit the list. Our goal is always to have it to tribal health accounting by the first Friday of whatever month we're in. and then they have to justify the list. It has to be signed off on by 3 other people within tribal health. It then gets transmitted to central accounting, and then those deposits or checks get cut. So it's not the fastest thing I've ever seen, but 2 weeks in the middle of the month is generally our target.
And I very respectfully call them old too.
I very respectfully am never going to do that, but thank you for your time. It was a little more than 60 seconds, but
Thank you, Tracy. Yeah,
Yep.
go ahead, Jen.
Okay, so Lindsay is on and she will be speaking for John Wheeler and Chelsea.
Good afternoon, Vice Chairman and members of the council. We are here asking for permission to put in for a grant through the American the American Academy of Pediatrics for a safe sleep grant. The grant will be primarily focused on being able to purchase supplies and hold classes to teach how to make baby bags, cradle boards, and the cultural practices that go along with the safe sleep. A lot of the safe sleep grants that are out there do not approve those things. So we're very excited to have a grant that is promoting that. And then part of the grant will also be used to purchase some other safe sleep equipment like portable cribs and bassinets for families to be able to get at any of our educational classes. The grant is in the total of $20,000.
Questions? Go ahead, Martin.
Have you run this through either of the culture committees?
We have not yet, but it is on the agenda of having them oversee everything that we're going to teach for that part of it.
Motion by Martin to approve the resolution supporting the submission of the American Academy of Pediatrics National Center for Fatality Review and Prevention Tribal Community Grant. Wow. Is there a second? Second by Danielle. Any further discussion? See none, all those in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And now we have Kathy Ross.
Hi, Kathy.
Good afternoon. I'm here to make a request before council to whether they want to show interest or disinterest in buying the old Mission Dental building in St. Ignatius. We did do a walkthrough on Tuesday. There were 3 council representatives there. We had a chance to look at the facility, look at how it could be used. Joe was there also at the time. He's not able to be here today. But I just feel like I just want to put that before the council today and see if you're ready to make a decision one way or the other on this facility.
I make a motion to show interest.
Motion by James to show interest. Go ahead, Martin.
So the last time you were here, you're a grant funded program?
Yes.
And when does that grant run out?
We are funded for 5 years. We're almost to the end of our first year of that 5-year funding. That ends in September 29th.
And do you know where this funding would come from to purchase this?
No, I don't, but I know that that was discussed at the meeting.
And so after this grant runs out, is the building just turned back to tribal health or to the tribe, or whose building is it?
Well, it's my understanding that the tribe would own the building, that tribal health would use that for not just my program, but for more community outreach, but also for some other community health-based programs.
Carol?
Yeah, Joe did talk about how he would fund this program, and I thought he said third party. Is that correct?
T-HIP.
T-HIP and third party. And he also talked about a plan that he was gonna do for Anchor Way Anchor's Way. And then also this, do the inspections and get all that stuff done. But yeah, he had figured out how to fund it.
Second by Carol. Martin?
I don't have a lot of confidence in tribal health buying buildings and doing things with them because Anchor Way is a perfect example of that, where they've owned it since last October. And they aren't even utilizing it. It's a different program that's utilizing it. And I shudder to think that we had a good plan for this one. I also would like to have Joe here before we make a decision like this. Department head should always be involved with this. I appreciate you saying Joe had a plan for it yesterday, but they also had a plan for Anchor Way. And that still sits. Under the times right now, it's just not financially responsible to buy another building that we're gonna let sit. I fully support what you're doing. But tribal health does not have a good track record in my mind right now.
Go ahead, Carol.
Well, I think if you would have come to the meeting, I think you pretty would have felt pretty confident about Joe's, how he was going to proceed. And I thought it was nailed down. And yeah, I think he would agree that the kickoff on Anchor's Way and Logan Health, that other building up there, may not have been perfect, but what I hear him saying, what he's going to do, I was impressed. I thought this is a way to get this taken care of, but also have a place in St. Ignatius, which there is nothing now for anybody from NARS or any other area to gather and meet. And until you have those places in the community, those people kind of just, kind of fling in the wind. That community will start to be coming together and healing, just like you see other communities doing with a place to meet and gather. And so that's what I was really excited about, not only your program, but also that. So.
Go ahead, Martin.
I would like to hear from Joe, have something in writing, hear from Greg and Ruth before we make a decision like this, because we should be dealing with department heads or executives. A lot of respect for you, but we can't jump into something just because we have someone's word on something. We had Anchor Way sound like a great plan. I was excited for an outpatient treatment center, which we desperately need here. And then they decide they don't want the building. And we're looking at paying back $2.3 million next year. So that's the other thing that we got to think about is, what if we have to pay back Anchor Way? Where does that money come from? So again, let's have something in writing. Let's have some solid things. Let's have an actual inspection, unlike Anchor Way did. Let's not rush into something because what's the rush? Why can't we wait until next week to get an actual proposal, something in writing, all the numbers, before we jump into something?
You say, what is the rush? I've been looking at this building for over a year. I mean, it may seem like it's fast to you. This has been a lengthy project for me. And it's one that I am very passionate about and have a heart for, because we are in the middle of a very serious opioid crisis. People are dying. We do have resources. We do have some things that we can be doing. We could be more proactive about this. And I just feel like this is something that can't wait. And all I'm asking for today is a motion to at least begin that process of having that conversation with the owners and saying, is this, and starting a plan and looking at what we're going to do. This doesn't obligate us to buying it today. What this does is start that process to appoint either someone from the council and Joe to be those negotiators and to see what kind of plan we can come up with. I have a plan, but Joe is the one who understands exactly where the finances are going to come from. I don't have that information right here. But yeah, that he did ask me to come and present this on his behalf. I can't answer everything. I wish I could. I understand your concern that, you know, that you had a situation that didn't go well, and now you're feeling kind of stuck with that. I know. But I said, I think this is a worthwhile project. I wouldn't bring it to you if I didn't think we had a way to use it. I wouldn't waste your time and your money and your resources. Or mine.
Any other discussion? I'm kind of, I could appreciate, Kathy, your sincerity and your interest in this. I have deep reservations about acquiring any more buildings on behalf of tribal health, given the situation that we have with Anchor Way. And in dealing with having a good plan that's adopted and I'd have it rescinded and then back and forth, it's just, it doesn't make me confident of what's going on. And I can appreciate you have it. That's what was me with Medicare B. That wasn't an initiative from Joe. That was me and a few others really pushing that to make it happen. So I understand that good things can come from not the department head, but others in the circle of the influence or the topic at hand. But I really want to see a solid plan for the existing acquisition before I would vote for any new acquisitions on behalf of tribal health. And so I'm kind of in Martin's camp for that because it's been a frustrating ordeal and it's not good. And so that's where I would lie, but of course it's the majority vote of council. It's not to say that I wouldn't vote for it down the road. At this point in time, I'd rather have it come back at a tribal health committee meeting, have a fully vetted conversation and have that other plan for Anchor Way fully presented that we can adopt to make sure it's solid. That's what I'd like to see. And I know there's other vacant buildings around. That's the other problem I have. You know, whether or not you could house somebody down at the agency or a new building going in down there with vacant space, or other buildings that we have. You know, I don't know. I don't know if Mission's the right spot for what you're asking for. Maybe it's more appropriate in Ronan. I don't know where the best physical location would be to best provide the customer service needed for the population that you're concerned about, that we're all concerned about. So those are all points that I would say. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I got a council last year and brought this up with council and Patricia Hibbler at the time. And I couldn't get any response out of Patricia Hibbler. And while we were trying to get this potential project moving forward, she came through with Anchor Way and got it all through and fine and dandy. But this particular project, she had no interest in, would not work with me or return my calls or anything on trying to get this figured out. And so, some of the things that you all bring up are valid, but I don't think it's entirely in tribal health's problem. I think a lot of it was Patricia Hibbler pushed it through without necessarily consulting with tribal health. But I'm ready to move forward with it, and I hear the concerns, but I'm seeing people, and we've just buried another person from overdose, 2 or 3 this week. And part of the problem is we've got a great program in NARS, which is in Ronan, but not everybody in Mission has a car to get up to NARS in Ronan. And so it'd be nice to be able to have NARS branched off in Mission or even different parts of the reservation. And so, and anyway, that's my concern.
Go ahead, Danielle.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologize for missing that walkthrough. I was cooking food for a service, a funeral service that day. So, and maybe these questions were answered at that time, but I'm understanding you're wanting to use it like NARS, so like a community place for people to go gather during the daytime to do healthy activities versus drugs. Is that right?
Yes, we'd like to have it would be a walk-in center for people. We wouldn't be able to have quite all the space that NARS does in Ronan. They have a big open facility where they can do lots of groups and things like that. it would be on a smaller scale, but it'd be very similar. NARS is interested. If we had a space available, they could bring that to St. Ignatius and it could serve Charlotte, Dixon and Arley. We don't have anything like this from Ronan South. That is part of the reason why I looked at doing this in St. Ignatius, because the building happened to be available. It kind of was central to those communities. And it's easier for people to get from Dixon to St. Ignatius and to Ronan.
Yeah, go ahead, Danielle, and then Carol.
I just was asking because like, I guess in the meantime, while sounds like we figure this out, because I want to support those type of efforts for addiction. But in the meantime, have they utilized other places like the senior center or the community center, some of those like community locations that St. Ignatius does have to hold any type of events for prevention?
We could look at that. I hadn't gone that far with it because I was hoping to be able to look at this as a facility that we wouldn't have to start up somewhere and then move somewhere else. So, I mean, that's something I could look into is, yeah, bringing NARS into some other facility if we're not able to get this.
Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, I used to go to AA out at SNK Technologies when they had it out of town. It's a little bit far of a trek also. Tribal Health, I don't know if that's the proper place. Boys and Girls Club in Mission, not the proper place.
No.
Yeah, so there's certain things that you could open up, but I don't know of any place in Mission. I looked at Decker DeJarle when I was first thinking about having a place in each community. And for some reason, that building never would pan out. But I think this is an opportunity for them to have a meeting place. It's not just a meeting place for like one meeting a week. It's a place to gather where they can go in and apply for jobs, talk to other people, network, and come to a self-help meeting throughout the week. And it's so much more than just, you think about an AA meeting, it's so much more.
Yeah.
It's a place to congregate, to stay sober, talk to others, and just help others. Anyway.
Yeah, go ahead, Len.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At least for me, I'm totally opposite of what you're thinking because I think we need to purchase up as much property, especially commercial property, as we can. And if we can do it through tribal health, let's do it. Because right now, hey, this is our reservation. We need to try to get everything we can. And so I strongly support the purchase of this. And, unfortunately, things didn't happen the way we wanted to them over at Anchor Way. But guess what? We got homeless people over there that have a roof over their head. They're eating breakfast every day, and they have a place to go. So it worked out for us. And you know what? Maybe, yeah, it should have had some better planning on tribal health part. But the fact of the matter is we're here about providing services to the membership in any way we can. And right now with the epidemic that we're going through, our opioid epidemic, we need to provide every resource available we can to our staff. And this is one of those opportunities that I think that we need to help out with because yeah, right now it's just been whoops, sorry about it. But anyway, I support this. I strongly support this, and I think we need to move forward. And just to clarify your motion, that was just a motion to show interest in negotiating.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
I'd also like to add, Joe did talk about at the meeting on Tuesday that he is working with an individual that's going to be evaluating and assessing that building, the Anchor Way building, to see what is the best use of that. Whether it can be used should be turned into housing and shelter care, or should it be turned into office space? He does have someone who's working on a plan for what to do with that building. What is the best fit for the building and its location, the way it's set up and designed now?
He said there wasn't enough power going to the building that could house a medical something.
Right.
So Medical
had to look
facility.
at something else for it.
Yeah.
And so he thought what Len, homeless shelter, but whatever comes out of the assessment is what he's gonna look at.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Danielle.
James, on your motion, I think I can support it as long as you point somebody that's gonna be the point of contact on this. Who's going to, is it Joe, is it Lance? Who's going to see this through? Is it a real estate agent? Who's gonna give us that next bit of information so we can decide how to proceed with this?
Motion to show interest and appoint Joe Durglo. He's the head of the department. I can't point anybody in lands, but
So this would be a Joe project.
Any more discussion? No more discussion. Let's, yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. I was at that meeting on Tuesday and went on the tour. I totally agree with Carl and James and whoever's. I value everybody's opinion on how they think, but I think it's a needed service there. It has been for a long time, and I think you had a good point. Whoever said that they needed more throughout the reservation. I'd like to see one in Arlene, but at least in Mission, it's close. And I hear what James said. I don't want to see another overdose. If we can prevent that by just education and helping, man, I'd love to do that. I'm for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. No further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor to show interest in purchasing the old dental clinic? 1, 2, 3, 6, 6, 4, 1 against myself, and 1 out of the room being Martin. Just for showing interest.
Showing interest? Yes.
And for the record, it's the matter of I'd like this presented at a tribal health committee meeting where it should be. And the full staff present or when it's presented. So I think that was the problem before. And we're kind of reoccurring that problem right now. So not everybody was present in part of the Anchorway purchase. And that was the issue. So not all the parties were at the table.
and for the record, we've been trying to work on this since February of last year, and we could not get staff to help develop this. And so I think we've had enough people die from overdoses to fentanyl, and we need to do something, particularly in our southern area.
And it hasn't been for lack of trying to get Patricia involved in this. She was not responsive to me either. So I didn't get very far with that.
Yeah, go ahead, Danielle.
And Kathy, I love what the program does as far as opioid response. And I guess just a suggestion, maybe in the meantime, so we can kind of know how many people we're going to serve in that area, right? Like if you can get AA or NA or any of those things, or even a community outreach event, scheduled down there, even if it's at a community center or a senior center, just to kind of get some involvement. So we kind of know the number of people we're going to be serving in that area. Right now, are we going to have the community like we have at NARS up here where there's 50 to 100 people, or are we looking at serving 10 people? Just so we make sure we're pouring the right amount of resources. I don't, what do we go buy a big building and there's only 5 people there? Are we going to buy a building that's too small and we're pushing at the seams trying to accommodate them? So I guess I just like to see us maybe just throw an event and see what kind of some of that community interest is, and let them know what some of those services are.
While I understand that may seem like a logical way to do things, I will tell you that people who are probably going to need this most won't come to a community event like that. They're more likely to walk into a building without a crowd around where they feel more comfortable.
I know I work with 10 people who go to CMS in Missoula. They don't come into tribal health other than to see me. They don't come for any other service. I work with other people that don't work with the tribal health provider, partly because one, they've had some issues in the past and they don't feel comfortable coming in for that, but they do come in and see me. I'm just looking to have a facility that is open and non-judgmental. And I feel like that I've been doing this work for a number of years. I know the communities pretty well. And I believe I know that there is a need in St. Ignatius. And there, just St. Ignatius alone, let alone Charlotte, Dixon, and Arlee. You add those collectively together. I don't feel like this is a building that would be too small or too large, but if it grows, that would be great. Then we need a bigger building. We'll find a way to do that. But I'm saying we have to start somewhere. And right now, this is the somewhere that's available.
Yeah, go ahead, Carol.
Being in drug court, healing court this morning, it was packed. They're going to have to start putting people in the jury box to sit because every queue in that whole place. But I would like to invite the council to a healing court when they first go into the new courtroom. Because I think that would really send a message. But boy, it's impressive to see how many people are coming in, and we've lost more people, I'd say, in St. Ignatius than anywhere. I mean, young people. And then you start seeing young people going into the hub and to Ronan, and you'll start seeing them come into Mission. They'll come in with their parents, and it's so wonderful to see that, and once that happens, it starts a snowball effect of community members.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to go into executive with Michelle and Chelsea.